What's up guys, Hanish here, and today I've just got a quick Destiny 2 news update. We have some information about the DLC raid, which will be launching later on this week. We've also got a brief look at some of the new emblems for the raid. On top of this, we have some word about the Prometheus lens trace rifle, which I'll get into in a moment. I also wanted to talk about Saint-14's shotgun and the potential that, some kind of quest is going to happen for this weapon. And we'll also take a look at the perks on the weapon as well, and there are a bunch of interesting things to look at in the database. So firstly, Deej did promise that Bungie would reveal when the Eater of Worlds raid lair would actually launch for the Curse of Osiris, and it will be launching at 10 AM Pacific on Friday, December the 8th. So that's later on this week, only gives us a couple of days to get ready for the raid launch. But we can see Bungie's tweet right here: Eater of Worlds, the raid lair for Curse of Osiris will open to fire teams. The race for Worlds First will be on, we'll be watching, and so will the community. So this Friday is when the raid launches, definitely going to be pretty interesting. It's interesting that they say the race for Worlds First will be on. Deej previously said that they weren't going to actually track the World First completion for this raid, but then Bungie themselves have actually gone ahead and said that, so I'm not entirely sure whether they will track Worlds First. But the main thing is that for all of us, the raid will be launching this Friday, December 8th, 10 AM Pacific. It's going to be pretty interesting. There are a couple of potential emblems in the database which could pertain to the raid. So we've got the Covetous Emperor, obviously referring to the Emperor himself, is pretty interesting. We also have the Emperor's Envy, and we actually see the two kind of Cabal guards there. So these two most likely pertain to the raid. Of course, it is still the Emperor's ship, and that's why, this may be referring to the Emperor himself. It doesn't really give us a solid clue as to what we're likely to find inside of the raid, but of course we do have that one image that Bungie showed in the tweet, and as well as this, we had a few clips from inside of a trailer. Moving on though, we've all been talking about the Prometheus lens, which is a new exotic trace rifle in the Curse of Osiris. I did a brief review of it just yesterday. It turns out this thing is absolutely ridiculous inside of PvP. There's been a whole stir of conversation regarding the thing because, it is absolutely shredding. Deej actually tweeted out about this, so Prometheus lens shipped with a bug. We'll address the issue and talk solutions in this week at Bungie on the blog. So it's very much on the radar for Bungie, with things like Trials of the Nine coming up this weekend. It could be pretty problematic inside of the Crucible, and obviously there's a pretty big balance issue right there because it is very, very dominant and there isn't anything that really counters it right now. Bungie themselves speak about the community narrative, the fact that we don't like to hear that nerfs are being thrown around and things like that. So it will be very interesting to see how they go about, handling this, whether they can make a change before Trials launches or, whether they plan on making a change soon or whatever happens. It's going to be, pretty interesting. So of course I will keep you guys posted, but it sounds like some kind of nerf or change could definitely be on the cards very soon. Up next, I wanted to talk about Saint-14's shotgun. So this is something I mentioned before the expansion actually launched. There is a new shotgun in the game that refers to Saint-14, particularly on the kind of emblem that you can see on the side of the weapon, which has a Saints or the Fleur-de-Lis icon with the number 14 in Roman numerals. So this weapon is actually legendary. It's called the Perfect Paradox. No one has had this thing dropped inside of the game yet. We may as well have a quick look at the perks. So it's rapid fire frame. It is a full auto shotgun. It's got flared magwell as well as steady rounds and accurized rounds, and then rampage, so kills with the weapon temporarily grant increased damage. It's also worth mentioning this is a maximum rate of fire shotgun, so it's going to be very interesting to actually try this thing out. It certainly looks pretty cool, but the fact that no one's had it dropped yet and the obvious link to Saint-14 is pretty interesting. Players have found what they believe to be Saint-14 inside of the Infinite Forest, and you can see a screenshot right here that someone put on Reddit. The ribbons that you see around the character are very similar to the ones you see on the exotic ship inside of the Eververse loot table, so it definitely appears to link to Saint-14, and obviously that means that this legendary weapon could indeed have a quest or a mission or something, which it's actually locked behind. Something else particularly interesting is that there is indeed an emblem called the Legend of Saint-14 inside of the database, a very, very cool looking emblem, and alongside the fact that this weapon is there but is not currently available, it definitely looks like this is going to be some kind of quest or some kind of, thing that you progress to at some point soon. Of course, I'll keep you guys posted. It could be a time-gated thing. It could be something which unlocks when you've get all of the forge weapons in the Lighthouse social space. Interestingly, there is another emblem called the Prophetic Arsenal, which certainly appears to be linked to the forging of those weapons. You'll probably get this once you've unlocked them all. Either way, it does appear that there is, a little bit more content locked away for us to find. There is also the Sagira exotic ghost shell, which I mentioned in my exotic video earlier, and it seems likely that this is going to be kind of a quest or a time-gated thing as well. So I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on any of this stuff, guys. But there we have it, the raid date and time. Prometheus lens is going to be looked at for sure, and we get a better look at the Saint-14 Shotgun. We'll have to find out exactly where it drops. But if you have enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more Destiny 2 content. For now though, have an awesome day.